To save humanity from extinction, a group of astronauts travels through the portal in search of another planet in space. So watch the video to see how this journey became a deception from reality and how astronauts have turned this deception back into reality. The film begins with Joseph Cooper, who is a farmer. He lives in a farmhouse with his children, son Tom, daughter Murph, and father-in-law Donald. He's a former NASA pilot and engineer. They grow corn because there's a shortage of wheat and the rest of the crops are almost gone. There are no signs of any animal life. In addition, half of East Colorado's population was wiped out by famine in the 2060s, and the drought has led to a ban on technology and all scientific work. Cooper's son, Tom, is average in studies. The school administration chooses him to become a farmer. Cooper refuses to give up because he wants to make his son an engineer, but a college degree is now only available to a few talented students. Cooper is very close to his daughter, Murph, an intelligent girl who shares her interest in space and science. One day, the books fall off the shelf by themselves, and the model of the spaceship also falls and breaks. She tells her father that there's a ghost in her room, but Cooper does not believe it. Cooper brought his family to watch a basketball game a long time ago today, but a dust storm during the game disrupts the game and has to be eliminated ahead of time. When the Cooper family returns during the dust storm, the window in Murph's bedroom is opened. Cooper closes the window, but the whole room is filled with dust. When Cooper's attention is drawn to the ground, the dust on it has accumulated in precise lines. Finally, Cooper likens these lines to binary code, and after decoding it, according to Cooper, it is a place's address. With the help of a map, Cooper and Murph leave for this place the next day. Cooper arrives at the site, but there's a fence. He tries to go inside, but a bright light falls on his eyes. He gets nervous because he has his daughter with him, which he cannot endanger. After a while, Cooper's eyes are opened, and a strange robot named Tars interrogates him. There comes a girl named Dr. Amelia Brand. Cooper tells her he wants to see his daughter. She takes Cooper with her to where he meets his former boss, Professor John Brand, in the conference hall. Murph is also there. Dr. Brand believes that some force brought him here. Cooper is told by Dr. Brand that this is a NASA secret base and is no longer subsidized by the government due to a lack of resources. He tells Cooper that in the next few years, human life on Earth will not be possible. This is why they're trying to save the human race. 10 years ago, they sent 12 astronauts through wormholes on 12 different planets to test which one of them is best for human habitation, only 3 of which triggered the signal. In addition, they will soon send a space mission to visit 3 potentially habitable planets, 2 of which are in the orbit of a massive black hole called Gargantua, which is about the size of the Earth's sun, but its solar mass is about 50 million Earth suns. Dr. Brand has 2 plans for this. According to Plan A, Dr. Brand is researching gravity and how to overcome it. Therefore, they can take humans from Earth to the habitable planet via space station. They have already built a space station for this. Furthermore, NASA's base is in the same space station, but how to take such a large station into space is still being researched by Dr. Brand, who is doing research on this issue so they can overcome gravity and make it possible. According to Dr. Brand's research, all they have to do is switch off the Earth's gravitational force, which causes such a large station to float in the air on its own, and they just have to show it the way. All this is possible only when they can overcome gravity. According to Plan B, if Plan A is not completed and takes them a long time to find another planet, they will carry with them the DNA of 5,000 human beings, through which they will be able to create a new human colony and save the human species. That's why the doctor wants to make Cooper the pilot of the spaceship, because he himself is worried about these conditions, so he agrees. The next day, Cooper and Murph return home. Murph is angry with her father because he is leaving them for indefinite help. Cooper reassures Murph and promises to return, saying that when he returns, they will both be the same age. She tells him that her bookcase is telling her to stay, but Cooper is adamant about going. Cooper bids farewell to Tom and Donald. After all, Cooper, Amelia Brand, Dr. Doyle, and Dr. Remley are aboard the space shuttle, along with the TARS and Case robots. As soon as the spacecraft reaches space, they slowly attach the spacecraft to the Endurance space station, where they are preparing to cryo-sleep for Saturn's 2-year journey. Endurance is now orbiting the sun, and they are all awake. They find a wormhole that will take them to the 3 planets in the next galaxy. They set off for their first mission, the Miller planet. Cooper, Amelia, Doyle, and Case decide to risk themselves for the survey, while Remley stays at Endurance to investigate the black hole and obtain quantum data from it. They're about 10 billion light-years from Earth. Due to its close proximity to Gargantua, Miller's planet causes gravitational pull of time to spread, at the surface of which the cost per hour is 7 Earth years. When When they land on the planet, they only discover low water and the wreckage of Miller's spacecraft, which sent its signal to Earth 10 years ago. Amelia starts moving towards the signal. Cooper wonders what she's doing. Amelia says that the mountain is gone, but Cooper looks closely, which now shows that there are high waves. The ship's engine shut down due to the water waves, but Cooper restarts them and is blown away by the waves. But in the meantime, Doyle could not reach the plane and got lost. Cooper and Amelia return to Endurance, where they see the aged Remley. Remley has been waiting for them for 23 years. Cooper watches all the videos in which he sees his 17-year-old son, Tom, presenting a picture of his woman. In the next video, Tom is now 40 years old, introduces Cooper to his grandson. He tells Tom that Donald died a week ago and was buried with Jesse. He thinks Cooper is dead or lost, and he shouldn't let him go. For the first time in 25 years, Murph sends a message to his father because that day is her birthday, and she is 35 years old, the same age her father was when he left, and he hasn't returned. She feels that her father has deceived her. Murph stops recording on Earth. After that, we find out that she now works with Dr. Brand, and also takes care of him. After that, at Endurance, they are thinking about visiting the planets of Mon or Edmund because they do not have enough fuel to visit both the planets. Brand wants to go to Edmund's planet, but Cooper wants to go to Man because they're still receiving signals from him. In the next scene, Murph is eating with Tom, Louise, and Cope. When she finds Cope coughing, this makes her upset because she knows the nitrogen level in the air is slowly harming their kid. Dr. Brand is taking his last breath. He tells Murph that he lied about Plan A. He could not control gravity and he never had enough data to complete the equation. He dies and Murph sends a video message to Amelia, informing her of her father's death, asking her to confess the truth and asking if her father knew about it. They arrive on the planet Man, which is a glacier-covered planet with a deadly atmosphere of methane. Cooper wakes up Dr. Mann, who has lived here for 35 years. Dr. Mann tells them that 80% of the planet's gravity and the lower half of the planet are habitable. Amelia watches Murph's video and gets shocked when she hears about Plan A's reality. Mann tells them that this equation was solved long ago, and that it was already known that this was an impossible process. On Earth, Murph is traveling in her car with her boyfriend, Dr. Getty. She examines her surroundings where endless clouds of black smoke surround her, and the world is in the final stages of its destruction. She comes to her house so that she can get some useful information from there. Her room is dusty everywhere and her room is exactly like the one that she left. At Cooper's farmhouse, Dr. Getty examines Tom's family's lungs. He warns them that they can't stay here and will die soon. Tom gets angry and tells Murph to leave and don't come back. Dr. Mann is taking Cooper on a planetary tour. He removes the Cooper's voice transmitter and throws him down on the rock. Mann tells Cooper that he sent a false signal to save his life because he didn't believe anyone would come to his rescue. Mann destroys the glass on Cooper's helmet, causing him to suffocate. Cooper tries to get the transmitter and communicates with Amelia. Cooper is saved by Amelia. When Remley is attempting to extract data from the Kip, a wrecked robot in Mann's planetary abode, an explosion occurs there and he is killed. Cooper and Amelia save the TARS in time and leave the planet, while Mann also leaves the planet from another spacecraft. At the same time, Murph sets fire to the cornfields on the Earth to distract Tom and take her brother-in-law and nephew away. Murph looks at the old things in her room and remembers her childhood. In space, their spacecraft reaches the Endurance. Dr. Mann tries to connect his spacecraft to the station but fails. Cooper tries to warn him, but he ignores the incomplete lock warnings of the computer, which causes an explosion. The Endurance goes out of control, and to control it, Cooper tries to connect with it, despite its rapid rotation, and he succeeds. Cooper sends Amelia to the station and stays on the spaceship himself. As Endurance approaches the orbit of Gargantua, Cooper and TARS intercept the shuttle and the black hole pulls them, while Amelia and Case rush toward the planet Edmund. In a black hole, gravitational forces tear apart Cooper's ship. Cooper is sinking into a dark hole. The computer advises him to get out of it. Cooper gets stuck in the Tesseract. Upon reflection, he realizes that this is a 10-year-old Murph's room. His daughter's room can be seen there at different times. What she thought was a ghost was actually her father. Then Murph comes to the bedroom. When she sees the wristwatch ticking, which her father gave her before he left, she is convinced that he was her father. Her hope is renewed. TARS told Cooper that people from the 5th dimension had sent him there to contact Murph and save the human race. He tells TARS that the 5th dimension had chosen Murph to save humanity. He transferred the black hole data to Murph's wristwatch. Murph returns to the NASA bunker and completes the equation using the wristwatch data. Back at the black hole, the Tesseract is now closing. Cooper is now relieved that it has all succeeded, and he becomes unconscious. Cooper wakes up in a hospital bed. The doctor encourages him to rest. Cooper looks out the window. A child hits a ball in the sky with a hitter, which hits an upside-down house window. Cooper gets amazed to see this and asks where he is. The doctor tells him that he's at Cooper Station, orbiting Saturn, and that it's named after his daughter. The doctor added that Murph would see him in a few weeks, so Plan A worked, and the gravity equation was solved. Their former farmhouse is now a museum display, much cleaner and more renovated. Murph, who is nearing the end of her life, asks to be taken to the station to meet his father. A nurse leads Cooper to Murph's room. He enters through a door where Murph is surrounded by people, from small children to middle-aged people, but he ignores them and he comes to her. Cooper is the age he was when he left, and Murph is 99 years old, and close to her death, but their father-daughter love has not been affected. He tells her that he was the ghost who had spoken to her in her chamber years ago, even though he didn't believe her at that time. He tells her that he is here for her now, but she says that her children are here for her and she doesn't want her father to watch his child die like this. Cooper asks her where to go and she says to Brand. Cooper slowly leaves her room. He follows Murph's advice and goes to find the Amelia Brand, who went in search of a colony on the planet Edmund. The planet is excellent and breathable, where Amelia continues to pitch her tent and hopes that someone will come to her rescue. With the help of TARS, Cooper takes one of the next generation spacecraft and travels through the wormhole to rescue Amelia Brand. The movie ends here, but wait, watch how these two friends and fellow magicians become bitter enemies after a sudden tragedy. Many times the truth is in front of us, but we don't see it, because we always want to see something extraordinary, and magicians take advantage of that and fool us. This is what we see in this movie. Check that out and subscribe for more. That was all from the video. I hope you liked it. Subscribe for more content like this.